I'm really happy to introduce to you the White Chief of Cache Creek. It's the story of the Reformed Presbyterian mission to American Indians, told through the life of William Work Carithers, who went to Indian Territory in 1889 to open a mission. At that time, among people of goodwill, the theory prevailing of the way to best help American Indians was to assimilate them into white culture. And that was done through establishing boarding schools and taking the young Indian children away from their parents to a distant boarding school where they would have no contact with them. They would be educated in the same manner as white children, and summers they would spend with a white family and then go back to school in the fall. Well, this was basically inhumane because the Indians loved their children and there was great stress. And when the children did return to the reservation, they didn't assimilate well into either culture. Carithers had seen results of this. So the boarding school that he started was to be in the center of the reservation. Children were taught the ordinary classwork that they would get in a public school in English, but they were allowed to speak their tribal language with each other and with their parents, who were encouraged to come and visit anytime they wanted to, but especially on weekends where they would attend worship services. This was quite successful. Important warriors were converted and joined the church along with the young children attending the school. Great affection built up between the missionaries and the Indians. I thought I would read just one quick paragraph that would just illustrate how Carithers enjoyed people and enjoyed the Indians. It's talking about the boys at the boarding school. Indians had a flair for fun. They hated being laughed at, but they enjoyed laughing at themselves. One day, Carithers was watching from behind the shed as the boys marched single file to the outhouse during their mid-morning break. There was a familiar-looking cask right beside the walk, and the lid was moved back just enough to reveal its dark brown contents. Molasses was shipped in regularly, often in barrels that would hold several gallons. The first boy dipped his finger for a taste and kept moving without turning his head. So did the next and the next, all in straight-faced silence. When the last in line had tasted his dip, there was an outburst of hilarious laughter and spitting. The cask contained varnish. So there were good times. But it's also a story that tells about real life. There's the measles epidemic, the smallpox epidemic that was just terrible. Many deaths. There was drought, prairie fires, malaria, and there's always the tension with the cattlemen and the traders. But the story has a great deal of human interest, and a lot of American history is attached to it. There was 12 years from the time that Carithers first went on the reservation to when it was open to white settlement. That was in 1902. And although there was great apprehension about this event, no one was prepared for just how much impact it would have on the Indians. In one day, the reservation went from 4,000 Indians to 30,000 white homesteaders on that land. And the homesteaders did not like the Indians, and the conflict that was set up was devastating to the mission and to the Indians themselves. There's 3 themes in this book to watch for, and it's the concept of the Indian road, the white man's road, and the Jesus road. The Jesus road was the Indians' concept of Christianity and how they could be Christians and Indians at the same time. I don't say there's a satisfying answer here, but as you read the book, it will give you real insight into a very important part of American history. I hope you read it.